So hi everybody, my name is Rachel and I'm here on behalf of SambaNova. I am a product manager over there. And today I'm going to be talking about efficient inference and information retrieval for agents. So today I'm mainly going to start out with what an agent is and how an agent workflow works. And then I'm going to go into our piece at SambaNova, what we provide, which is basically really fast inference. And then I'm also going to cover a recent Zilliz integration that we partnered with using their vector database in an agentic context. And then at the end, I'm going to do a bit of a live demo and kind of share some resources that we have for developers to get going in this really exciting area. Check time. Okay, so agents, how many of you have been familiar with this term? It's gotten a lot of buzz recently, but basically it's this kind of new era of AI automation. There's been a lot of signals pointing this way. Large language models have been very, very revolutionary so far, but they have been kind of reaching their limits in a few different capacities. So agentic systems are AI systems designed to autonomously pursue complex goals and workflows with limited direct human supervision. So this basically means it's doing a lot of that reasoning and decision-making that humans do, as well as completing multiple steps and breaking down those steps and deciding its order. So these new AI use cases are going to have multiple large language models together, and they are basically going to be doing reasoning, and that decomposition is that breakdown of steps into tasks. And there's also going to be expert models. So say you have a task that deals with coding, but you also want to connect it to a personal chatbot. So that's where these kind of very specific expert models come into play, as well as non-deterministic and complex chains of model requests. So this means that a task could be a very, very long and use case specific, depending on what the user is looking for and asking in that situation, so very flexible. So with this new kind of era also comes the needs from these systems of really fast interactivity, and this was kind of pointed out with the complex chains. Ability to gracefully handle very large inputs because it's dealing with a lot to understand the user's situation, as well as high-speed model switching, which was kind of talked about with the expert models. So this is kind of showing off the difference between a typical chatbot, which is what you see and is commonly deployed. This has the limits of not being able to do any actions beyond knowledge retrieval. So this might be the typical thing you see on a website. We saw this earlier today with the Amazon kind of chatbot. All you can really do is go back and forth through text. However, the difference with an agent is that it has these actionable tasks and capabilities so that it's much more realistic to a human response, which is very exciting because this is where we get kind of trapped in this limitation with large language models right now. So this customer is asking the same thing, but now an agent is able to plan, it's able to access external tools through function calling, generate the response, and also reflect on that response in order to get a much more human-like response to provide the user. And then with this chaining of multiple large language model requests, speed is very, very important. And one aspect of GPT-4, it's not able to handle these speedy model requests, especially as you kind of start scaling up and chaining them together. So when you have 90 seconds chained together can turn into a very, very large 1 to 10 minute complex flow, which is just really not helpful and acceptable at this point. So in order to enter the next era, we can also start looking beyond these very large proprietary models. As you can see, the open source Llama 3.1 405B is a very, very powerful model and is right up there with all of these proprietary closed source options. And this is kind of where SambaNova comes in. So we actually offer 405B at a very, very fast speed because it is open source and because we're able to run it on a very fast chip. So you don't have to sacrifice that accuracy in order to get the speed that is needed to kind of push forward into this agentic flow. To go into a little bit of background about SambaNova, We are a hardware company. We were founded in 2017. So we're hitting our kind of 7-year mark. We were originated at Stanford University, where our 3 founders all found each other. We have a fully integrated generative AI platform, and we have 4th generation hardware. So we've been making chips for a while now, as well as we have these pre-trained models on top of them. And this is the heart of our company. This is our chip. It's called the SNL40L, but is also very commonly known as an RDU, which is Reconfigurable Data Flow Unit. And the key point for this kind of term means that a lot of operations that are on transformer architecture and large language models are able to be processed together, so there's a lot less movement of data between on-chip and off-chip. So this is where that optimization really comes in. As well as another really awesome aspect of this chip is our memory architecture. We have a lot of memory so we can hold models on fewer chips itself. And that chip, you kind of put it all together to power our recently launched SambaNova Cloud. So we launched this back in September in order to democratize access to our chips. So this is a publicly available API where you can actually access the best open source models. We have Llama 3.1, a couple different parameter sizes, as well as 3.2. So this has been kind of our recent outreach to kind of get people connected with our really fast inference. As well as this is what the chip looks like altogether as a beautiful rack. So the SambaNova chips basically move very fast and a lot faster than NVIDIA's chips, which is a very, very big feat that we're proud of. It can be up to 10 times faster at a variety of model sizes, which is very, very helpful when you're running agentic flows, which deal with these multiple models at various levels. So you can kind of apply it for whatever you're looking for. So based on like the performance aspects of speed as well as energy efficiency, no number of GPUs can really achieve the RDU performance. So where does this kind of fit in with building agents? So Andrew Ng, he's the head of deep learning. He recognizes that fast token generation is really important in this next phase, as well as he's outlined these 4 design patterns that I think are really helpful and kind of can clarify what agentic building is all about. Just check time. So the first one is reflection, and we've kind of already talked about this with kind of guardrails, hallucination, and it's very important in order to ensure that the model response is accurate and safe. And this can be done with one specific model. If you're maybe doing like LlamaGuard, which is actually a model that we're going to be hopefully onboarding soon. And then there's also tool use, which is a very, very helpful capability that which is why we partnered with Milvus today with our vector database offering. It's very helpful to interact with external databases so that you can have expand your knowledge with your model. And then the last 2, which are planning and agent collaboration, these kind of go hand in hand. So planning is how you can kind of break down the user's task into steps, and these can be actionable and routed through a router model into that multi-agent collaboration. So this is how you solve those complex problems. And then, in order to build these, you can kind of think of it as a gradient. I find this chart very, very helpful. So you can start at the few-shot prompting, which is where a lot of the chatbots are kind of sitting right now. And then, as you can go farther with RAG, you can access those external databases, and you get the external memory. And then, as you get down to tool use, this is where you can have your agent actually be capable of committing actions and do stuff that can affect real-time results. And this is the execution aspect. And then once you have agentic planning, that is what really makes it a complicated agent process versus just having all of these other things that you have to have a human interact with. So this is the first kind of baby step. This is the few-shot prompting. You will need to go to SambaNova Cloud to get your API key, and then this is where you get the very few Python lines of code that you can get started and start getting a response from large language models. And the second kind of elevation from that is where you can access our integration with Zilliz. So we recently made 2 different ways that you can get started very quickly. The first one is our 2 notebooks that you can access at SambaNova AI starter kits on GitHub. And over here is where you have 2 notebooks. The first one is using LangChain connector if you're more interested and familiar with that. And the second one is with OpenAI's client SDK. So both of these flavors are kind of up to you and customizable. And this will get you up and running with a very simple RAG system in like less than 10 minutes. And then the second way that we integrated with Milvus is we have these really awesome developer resources. We have these really awesome developer resources called AI starter kits. And these are available in a very similar space. And this integration is basically, Thank you. Okay, is that better? Okay, awesome. So this integration is based off of our already made AI starter kit, which is a full functioning application that you can use, customize, copy code from, do whatever you want, and it's already powered by Milvus. So that will be a very easy way to either on like the very simple level or looking at an app with like a full-fledged GUI. So it's all available for you to see already online. And then as you've kind of seen before, so I'm sure you're already familiar with this, this is the configuration for the RAG setup. And in our demo that I'm going to show in a couple of seconds, the analyst and the consumer are kind of put into the same category, but this is typically how it runs. As well, you can see Milvus is down here. You have your vector embeddings with re-ranker model. And we are also going to be having a onboarded model of vector embeddings coming very soon. So everything will be able to be for free, accessible in SambaNova's cloud. Okay, let's see if we can get some live demos going. So this is our cloud platform. This is free, very easy to use. This is where you get your API key. And then as I talked about, that very, very short amount of Python code is right here. And you can go over to AI starter kits. And actually, let me show the GitHub first. So you can click on Enterprise Knowledge Retriever is the one that I was talking about earlier with the RAG system built in already. And it's all available on GitHub right over here. And we explain a lot, so it's a really good starting place and very, very helpful. As you can see, you can choose Milvus by Zilliz as your vector database of choice, and you can also just customize the kit and do whatever you want. And in a fun little demo, let me get my API key. This is what it looks like. So even I've been using it for my own workflow, but it's really cool. It's on Streamlit, which is a great service. You process it, and then, okay, live demos are so much fun. But you can try it yourself. It's so easy. You can just click demo right here and do it on your laptop later at home. But I was going to show a New York Times article that recently came out. That was really exciting and fun to read. Otherwise, I'll just show the integration. That's actually another really fun place. So you go down here, go to integrations, and you select Milvus. And these are the 2 different notebook flavors that I was talking about earlier. This is the one with the OpenAI SDK. We are OpenAI compatible. So if you already have apps that are using OpenAI, you can very easily switch us in. And we are also a free version, so you can experiment with our models that we have available. I'll just show them off really quick once again. We have all of these. We have 2 vision models right now, and more are coming soon. We have a Quen coder model coming soon. Embeddings are going to be in a little bit as well. So we definitely want to provide whatever the developers are using. So if you also have other models that you're interested in, please reach out to me today. And we also have a community channel that we would love to help out and know more about what you're building. But this is our notebook that'll just flash really quick. So yeah, setting up the data. And then over here is where you're actually ingesting the Milvus documentation, so you'll be an expert on it by the end of this, and it should be really fast. It should take like 5 to 10 minutes to run through, but you do. The embedding model, this one uses the sentence transformer, which is pretty good, and then the other one uses like a Hugging Face instruct embeddings. So you can kind of try both, decide which flavor you want, and see what works for you. Okay, and then this one kind of came up at a recent hackathon, and it has been one of our favorite projects, and is a very great example of an agentic flow utilizing RAG. So going back to, like, we kind of started with a few shot, and then we just described how to build RAG out, and then this is how that fits within that agentic flow, which is really going to minimize the human direct interaction and be able to automate with decision making and reasoning. So any Pokemon fans in the house today? Amazing. So this awesome submission was for our Lightning Fast AI Hackathon. It actually wrapped up a couple days ago, but this is Poke Companion. And it basically uses RAG, which is trained on a Pokemon showdown data, and it basically makes reasonable battle moves and informs Pokemon discussion with players. So that really, I think, sums up what I was trying to go for in a beautiful, beautiful like version with Pokemon. So it's using RAG to act as a knowledge base to inform multiple actions that are able to be done very rapidly to be a lifelike, human-like experience. So these fast times are very important in order to make it natural, so it's not lagging and can actually behave as an agent. So yeah, this was one of our favorite ones. But yeah, as I mentioned before, the community is a really helpful resource for developers. We want to see agents being built and kind of help facilitate this process as it's becoming a very cool and awesome tool. And we have another hackathon coming up very soon, December 10th with Hugging Face. So the theme of that one is open source AI, and Hugging Face, we've done a couple partnerships with them. We have an integration with Gradio that you can make a chatbot literally in like 5 seconds. It's very, very fun, very cool. I'll stop for the QR code right now. But yeah, super fun event. Totally would love to see you there, and you can build a Pokemon-themed project or not. And then another thing I would like to share with especially this audience, and we've seen a really awesome startup earlier today too, we have an accelerator program where we can provide free inference for selected applicants. It is a super awesome opportunity to get really fast inference, and we can work with you on your project. But if you're interested, feel free to talk to me today. You can add me on LinkedIn and message me. But we are definitely looking for startups that would want some help with AI. So yeah, try us out, cloud@SambaNova.ai. We have our API, you can get it for free today. Start using models tomorrow. And yeah, I hope you guys build some really cool agents. Thank you.